Yeah, hi there. I am Michael, the founder owner and the materials writer for all of the lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. Today is a hot day here in California, and I am going to listen to and grade independent and integrated and even pronunciation practice tests submitted from my students in my online TOEFL course, and my goal is to help them get 26 points or higher. So let's take a look. So the first student, his username is Ben Chen, and he is working on pronunciation. I gave him an assignment based on one of his speaking practice tests to work on thought groups and blending. So let me go ahead and find his. Okay, I think I have it. So basically, he's trying to learn when to pause and then what kind of tone he needs to use when he pauses, and then how to blend those words within those thought groups. So he's trying to improve what the TOEFL looks at as what's called phrasing, grouping, maybe blending. So let me go ahead and talk to him here. Let's see how he's doing. He's been working really hard, as all my online students do. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Ben Chen. How's it going? And looks like you're completing right now one of my pronunciation lessons, lesson number 41, and this focuses on thought groups and blending. So let's see how you're doing.
Over time, as interest grew in sports and competition alone, new sports were added. But it was these core sports which stood the test of time and which have continued to be
Okay, I'm trying to find. Oh, I got it. So you're doing the second part here. Okay, now I can see. I wasn't quite sure where you are. So now, okay, let's start over. I apologize.
Over time, as interest grew in sports and competition alone.
Notice it just says sport, not sports, but sport and competition alone.
New sports were added, but it was these core sports which stood the test of time and which have continued to be practiced in similar form right up to the present day.
Not bad. So you're getting there. You're trying to vary your tone a little bit more, and you're pausing after those thought groups.
Wrestling must be regarded as the most important sports practiced in ancient Greece. The very name Pretest wrestling school must indicate its importance in Greek life.
Okay.
Nor need we be surprised at this, for all over the world, in cultures far distant from each other, one can find styles of wrestling and fighting, for it's a useful skill in war.
Okay, so I want you to practice this one more time with me. Let's do this again. So you're getting there, you're 80%. You still need some improvements. Let's read it together. Over time, as interest grew in sport and competition alone, new sports were added. But it was these core sports which stood the test of time and which have continued to be practiced in similar form right up to the present day. Wrestling must be regarded as the most important sport practice in ancient Greece. The very name Palestra, wrestling school, must indicate its importance in Greek life. Nor need we be surprised at this, for all over the world in cultures far distant from each other, one can find styles of wrestling and fighting, for it is a useful skill in war. All right, I think we got it. So keep up the good work. Okay, so now we need to go back and go to the next one. So that's number one. So each day I typically have about 10 either pronunciation or speaking practice tests that I have to comment on, just like that. I have about 10 today. Yeah, hi there. These comments are from MySum, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And you're working on an integrated speaking practice test. I think it's number 1. And I'm going to go ahead and listen to it here in just a minute. Okay, here we go.
The reading passage is about ads and the effect on humans' life. A politician uses different media to...
Okay, I'm going to say before you get into the main points of the reading passage, I'd recommend that you include an introduction that ties both the main point from the reading along with the main point in the listening passage. It might sound something like this. You might say the reading and the listening passage discuss the political and economic effects of advertising. So that way you're connecting the two sources together. Then you can say, first of all, in the reading passage, the speaker claims that internet, or the writer claims that the internet can have political effects. Then you explain that. Say, second of all, according to the listening passage, the internet also has economic effects on people's behavior. You see what I'm saying? So that's going to give you a little bit better organization, because you want to make sure you can tie everything together, and an introduction helps you do that.
Introduce him or herself to people, medias like TV, radio, or billboard. And
you want to say radio, not radio, but radio.
By means of that, they have a profound effect on the voting procedure.
A lot of ums and ahs, and I call these conversation fillers. Stop it. Try not to use those conversation fillers. If you have to pause and you want to have some silence there, it's okay. Just make sure you're not pausing too long. But be careful of all those pauses and those hesitations in there. It makes it hard to concentrate on what you're saying.
Also, I agree with that. And he talked about the economical aspect of ads. If a consumer wants to buy a product, they will not buy a product that they are...
You want to say product, not product. Product. So stress is on that first syllable there, and it's product.
Unfamiliar with. For example, if they want to buy a toothpaste, they will buy a toothpaste that they have seen its commercial on TV. By means of that, the producer informs people.
And make sure that when you're talking about the reading and the listening passage, maybe 2 or 3 times, make sure you tell us the reading passage also claims, or another point made in the lecture is, or another point made by the speaker is. So make sure you do that 2 or 3 times as you talk about each of those sources, so you're more clearly framing this as a summary.
Buy their product.
Okay, your score here, some delivery problems. Maybe thought groups and blending. If you're not sure what that is, go to pronunciation lessons 41 through 44 to learn more about it. I think overall, language use, you didn't have too many issues there. You seem to have pretty good control of your vocabulary and your grammar. Topic development, I think you could improve upon. You need a better introduction, as I outlined in this discussion thread already. That would help you make sure you're framing everything from the reading and the listening passages perspectives, not your own perspective. That means that you put voice markers in there like I outlined. You'll say the reading passage says, another point made by the reading is, finally the writer claims. So you do that several times as you talk about the reading passage, and you repeat those and use more voice markers as you talk about the listening passage. Right? Your score here, I'm going to put you at about 2.3 out of 4, 18 points out of 30 on this practice test. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So my sum is done. And my sum, by the way, has a TOEFL test in 10 days. His goal is 26, but he's scoring right now in the 2 range, so he's at maybe 17, 18 points out of 30. Probably not going to make it in 10 days. He needs maybe 2 or 3 months. So sometimes we have to have patience, because it takes time to solve the problems that you just heard in his response. You cannot always solve these in just 1 week or 2 weeks. Time. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Okay, let me see. I think I got them all on the second page now. What my students do is, remember that I'm teaching students from about 60 countries all around the world, right? So I cannot meet up with people in real time. You know, when I'm at school, they're asleep in Saudi Arabia, wherever the student might be. So I just basically get up every morning and I look at what practice tests have been posted. I have another one here from Dieta 79, and I grade them. I grade them every morning at the same time. And sometimes these practice tests were submitted yesterday, sometimes they were submitted sometime today, but my goal is to try to grade these things in about 24 hours after the student submits the actual practice test. Okay, let me talk to Dieta here. Let's see what we have. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Dieta 79, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. Good morning, or good evening, whatever time it might be where you are. I'm going to listen to your independent speaking practice test, number 194. It's hard to believe there's that many practice tests on my website. There's actually 300, right? So here's a question. Some say that women should be allowed to be combat soldiers in the military. Others believe that they should not be allowed to be combat soldiers in the military. Which opinion do you agree with most, and why? Be sure to use examples and details to support your point of view. So that's a question. So should women be allowed to be combat soldiers? Many women are in the military, right? The question is, should they be allowed to fight on the front lines and be killed just like the men? That's the question. All right, so you say,
in my opinion, women should not be allowed to be combat soldiers in the military. First of all, women cannot be combat soldiers because they are very sensitive. For example,
because they're what? I got to go back. You don't want me going back.
First of all, women cannot be combat soldiers because they are very sensitive.
Sensitive? Is that what you're saying? So they cannot be soldiers because they're sensitive?
I knew from an article I read last week that women are 75% more sensitive than men, and they cannot tolerate hard situations. Therefore, they cannot participate in wars at which innocent people might be killed.
Okay, so the example, the article that you read helps illustrate the point you're trying to make. I don't know if I agree with it, but I don't think it really matters if I agree or not with it. What matters is you made an argument and you gave an example to support that. So you're showing that you know how to develop your ideas with specific details. That's what matters.
Moreover, women also should not be combat soldiers because they cannot make fast decisions. For instance, again I knew from the same article that women take more time than men in order to make decisions. In wars, decisions must be made very quickly and very accurately, which is why I feel this way.
All right, so you gave your examples. Yeah, I have trouble with that whole argument there. It kind of bugs me a little bit, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to move that aside, not worry about that. So, I think from a, let me click on the actual rubrics here. Give me a quick second here. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. So, from a topic development standpoint, I had a little bit of trouble with that word sensitive. I think that's what you were saying. I had to listen to it a couple of times, so that was partly a word stress issue. Language use was good. Topic development was good. So, minor delivery issues. That's the only reason that I might score this a little bit lower. Everything else was actually pretty good. So, I'll put you at least 24 to 26 points out of 30. I think it's possible that you could get a score of 4 on this one. So good job on that. You see, that's a good example right there is I have to put, when I'm listening to these ideas, as I was telling her, even though I kind of disagreed with the 2 points in her argument, I can't really look at that as part of the score. I have to look at the organization and the development of her ideas, and she did do what she needed to do. So she gave her 2 different assertions. She gave examples to support both of those points, so she had a pretty good, coherent organization of ideas. So even though I may not see eye to eye with her on the actual argument, she is demonstrating, in my opinion, very fluent speaking. And I would love to have her in one of my university classes, no doubt, because I'm very comfortable with the way that she communicates. Okay, we got one more here. What do we have here? We have a pronunciation pretest.
Hi, thanks Michael. I'm going to start learning the lessons you recommend me in this comment. Thank you for your help. I really appreciate it.
It's always good to have a thank you there. You know, back in the old days, students would, when they go to school, they bring an apple or they bring something nice for their teacher, right? So I never meet any of these students, ever. They'll never see me. I will never see them. But what she just did is priceless. She just said thank you. That's all she did. And to me, I think that is very nice. So don't forget your TOEFL teacher, your TOEFL speaking specialist. If you're watching this video out there and you have somebody who's been helping you prepare for the TOEFL test, and there's a lot of people who do this. It's hard work, right? I got to get up every day and spend 1 to 2 hours just grading speaking practice tests every morning. That's what I do every day. I've been doing this for the last few years. It's hard work. And she just said thank you. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Pretest, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. I'm going to listen to your comments right now.
Hi, thanks Michael. I'm going to start learning the lessons you recommend me in this comment. Thank you for your help. I really appreciate it.
And you are welcome. It is my job. That's what you're paying me to do. So I want to be available to you, Pretest. So if you ever have any questions, you can send me emails. And remember, whenever you do independent and integrated writing and speaking practice tests, and when you do your pronunciation practice, you know there will always be somebody on the other end who will listen and comment on what you're doing. So you can be assured that somebody will be reading your writing and listening to your speaking. All right? And keep up the good work. And what you can do now is it's good for you, I think, to start posting speaking practice tests on a day-to-day basis. Students who practice every day, they do much better than those students who don't. So I encourage you to use my service. Use it as much as you can. You're paying for it $45 a month, no matter if you use it or not, so use it. And my mission is to help you solve whatever your delivery problems are. I will help you solve your language use problems, including grammar and vocabulary. And guess what? I have taught more than 90 grammar 10-week grammar courses over the last 22 years. You can consider me an expert when it comes to English grammar. You can consider me an expert when it comes to TOEFL preparation. Anything that you need to do to solve your language issues to get a higher TOEFL score, that is my mission. That's what I'm going to do. All right? What a nice student to say that. My day is complete now. I just need to hear a thank you. Wow, that means a lot. All right, let's go to the next one. So that's number 4. Okay, let's go to the next one. We got Ben Chan again. All right, let's see what he has.
The rowdy student.
He's doing some pronunciation practice, so I gotta find the lesson that he did. Okay, let's see, I think I have it. Let me look.
Was eventually sent to talk with the principal. 2.
Got it. Okay, let me go ahead and record. Yeah, hi there, Ben Chen, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. So I'm going to listen to your Speak Clearly lesson number 42. So here we go.
The rowdy student was eventually sent to talk with the principal.
Now, if you want to put the two thought groups together like you did, you can do that. So the rowdy student was eventually sent to talk with the principal. So you had the tone up where it said sent. I think that works very well.
2. Most firefighters report having injuries on the job fighting fires.
Yes, I like that. So, and what I would do is most firefighters, now if you have two thought groups, then you would say most firefighters report having injuries on the job fighting fires. So if you have two thought groups, as you pause after that first thought group, the tone should go up, and then the tone also goes up after the second thought group, and then it drops when you get done with the last one, because that's the last idea. You see what I'm saying? So then if you looked at that sentence again, if you only have 2 thought groups, you say, most firefighters report having injuries on the job fighting fires. That's 2 thought groups. Now if you have 3, I would say this. Most firefighters report having injuries on the job fighting fires. That's how I would read it that way.
3. A good accountant helps
I like that. You have tone, a little bit of rising tone at the end of the first thought group.
the business reduce taxes during tax season.
Yes, you nailed it. You're getting comfortable with your tone. You're learning what I'm teaching you in the lesson. This is good.
4. A happy couple knows how to solve problems during times of crisis. 5.
Yes, you're getting it. You're getting warmed up. You had a little bit of trouble in the beginning, but you're getting very comfortable with this.
Competent lifeguards can swim long distances in the ocean.
Yes, you exactly understand it. Good. So I think you're okay. You have the main point. Now you have to translate this into your TOEFL speaking. So now here's your next assignment. You ready for this one? Okay, I want you to do a speaking practice test, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to write it out. Now, of course, you can't do this on the TOEFL, but I want this to be a good training exercise for you. So I want you to type out the speaking response, type it all out, make sure it's 45 seconds, and then I want you to pause. I want you to put little lines in the sentences where you need to pause, and then remember to rise or to increase your tone after the thought groups, except the last thought group. So take what you learned here, and I want you to apply it to an actual TOEFL speaking practice test. Does that make sense? Because now we got to take this idea and put it into real life, kind of. All right? Okay, thank you for doing that exercise. Now that is progress. Ben Chen has been struggling with his intonation a little bit, so I gave him a delivery tip and told him to review my lessons on thought groups and blending, which he is doing. And then he's practicing the lessons at the end of the video, and then he's posting some of the practice for me to listen to and for me to comment on. And that is exactly how he will address his pronunciation issues, and that's how he's going to get better, and that is how he's going to reach his 26 on the speaking section. Good student, no joke. Really good guy. And again, I'll never meet him. I will never know him. He will never know me directly. But I know him online. I know him through his voice. I know him through my speaking Voxipop discussion group. That's how I know him. He knows me. He's watched some of my YouTube videos, and he gets my comments on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done so far. So I think I'm down to about 2 more. So this is my daily dose of speaking practice. Every day. John Lopez, here we go, buddy. It's my next student. Yeah, hi there, John Lopez, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. Thank you for putting a picture of yourself in for your little icon thing for Voxipop. It makes it easier. I like to have a face to look at, and I feel like I'm talking to a student here. All right, so you did independent speaking practice test number 2. So let's see what we got, John. Okay, the question here is, choose an event that has meaning for you. Explain how it has changed you. So you say,
many people have had important events such as getting married, meet you.
Okay, here we go.
Begin speaking now.
Good luck, John. Here we go, buddy.
I was doing my major in the university. I was...
Now, wait a minute. So you start off, I was doing my job. Now, let's go back to the question. Now, probably not a good start. I was doing my job. I would say an event that has meaning for me is, or an event that has changed me is, so what you want to do is restate the speaking task, do that right in the beginning of your response, and it gives your response a better purpose, and it's easier to get to your details. You don't have to go round and round and round the house before you get to your direct point. You want to be very direct with these kinds of speaking practice tests or these speaking tasks because you only have 45 seconds. So the goal is to get right to the details really quickly.
Chosen as a student representative to the board of the university. So that was very important for me because from that moment I became the most famous and popular guy in the university. Everybody came to me to ask me to act.
Nah, you need to connect this stuff all together. So you need to say something like, well, event that has changed me is graduating from the university because I learned to be independent and I created some long-lasting friendships or something. Then say, first of all, this event changed me because I was able to blah, blah, blah. And then say, second of all, this event also changed me because, and then state your second supporting point. So you need to create a more coherent organization, John. You want to make these ideas connect together better than what you are. So how do you connect ideas? How do you do it, John? Think about it. You got 4 things that you can do here. Number 1, you can use transition words. You can use words like first, second, third, finally, therefore, as a result, consequently, however, on the other hand. You can use transition words to show how things are connected. Number 2, you can repeat or rephrase key terms from the question. That's also very helpful in helping you to connect ideas together. Number 3, you can use pronouns and determiners to help connect the old and new information together. And finally, you can use what we call parallelism or parallel structures as a way of underscoring or highlighting certain information and making it all connect together. If you can do those 4 things a little more in your speaking, I think you will have better connection of ideas. Now go to speaking lesson number 7, John. I have some good tips on how you can do this. So again, speaking lesson number 7.
For a suggestion or just to present me problems, and I was trying to give solution to them, or to present their problems, their students' problem to the board and to the president of deacon of the university. So that was a meaningful. Stop work on the speaking.
That was a meaningful event which changed me significantly, and then which changed me because I learned independence and I had some long-lasting relationships, whatever the points are you want to make. So here's what you got to do, John. You need a better introduction that sets up maybe 2 support points that you want to focus on. So go to speaking lesson number 2 to learn more about how to do that. So you need a better, more sharply focused topic statement in the beginning. Then you apply the 4 principles outlined in this discussion thread to make it connect together better, right? And you can learn how to do that by going to speaking lesson number 7. Okay, your score here, I think you're having generally some delivery issues with pronunciation, and we'll work on those as we go. Language use, not too bad. I want to focus a little bit more right now on your topic development, your organization, and that's why I'm giving you the score I am. I'm going to put you at 2.1 out of 4, 17 points out of 30 on this practice test. Now, anybody watching this video here, if you're watching this, remember that when I'm giving comments, I'm not trying to be anybody's friend. I'm just telling them what they need to do to get better and how to score higher. So I'm very direct. In some cases, I can be almost rude. But I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just trying to help students get better. So if you do join my course, remember, I will tell you from day one exactly what it is about your speaking that you need to improve upon in order to get a higher TOEFL score. That is my goal. I'm not wasting any time. I'm direct from day one. All right, so we're good with John. We have his. Pretty busy, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've graded 6 so far today. I think I have a couple more. Have 2 more. We got Zapata. So they all use different usernames at Vitapop, not even their real name, because they have to create a username and a password, and if they try to use their name, it's probably already been used before, so they have to come up with a creative name here. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Zapata 207, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. Remember, with integrated, if you have some integrated speaking that you want to post from your TOEFL book, you can do that. If you find any from YouTube that you'd like me to, that you want to do, you can also do that. So I'm pretty open with that because I only have 20 integrated speaking practice tests. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to yours. This is integrated speaking number 3.
The university plans to buy a new sculpture. Some of the students wrote a letter and opposed the university's plan.
Okay.
Because they think it is not reasonable financially, and also the new sculpture will take up a great deal of
let's go back to what you said, needed to check it here.
They think it is not reasonable financially, and also the new sculpture will take up a great deal of green space. In the conversation, we hear that 2 students are talking about a student's letter. The girl disagrees with this letter. First of all, she rejects the article's assumption that the money for sculpture is...
Okay, one thing I like here, you're trying to vary your intonation. I like it. You're speaking a little bit slowly, but you're definitely trying to vary your tone, and that's a good thing.
From university's account. She points out to the idea that...
I like how you're using this simple present tense to explain the information. That's also a good strategy. And you're framing all this information from the point of view of the reading passage or the conversation.
Some donators paid for the sculpture. Also, she thinks that those who wrote the article use the green space to play soccer. That's why they want to keep their field from being occupied.
Okay, I think overall, let's look at it. Assuming that you have a complete and accurate response, I think it's good. The only thing that I'd recommend is in the beginning, let me listen to it one more time and make sure my comment's valid here. And,
the university plans to buy a new sculpture. Some of the students wrote a letter and opposed.
So you would say this, the reading passage discusses a policy about the university's plans to buy a sculpture, and in the listening passage, the 2 students discuss the policy. So you need to have something like that in the beginning that kind of connects, I think the reading passage and the conversation together and kind of shows what's going on. That would be one comment I would give you with topic development. All right, I think everything else was pretty good. You had good control of your language use, including your vocabulary and your grammar, a very good control of your verb tenses as you summarize the information. So delivery, I think you can work a little bit more maybe on what I call thought groups and blending. You can go to pronunciation lessons 41 through 44. Your score here, I'm going to put you at 2.83 out of 4, 22 points out of 30 on this practice test. I got one more. See, this guy's pretty good. Now, did you catch my comment? My comment was, it's important for integrated speaking. We need to know who is saying what. So part of this information was coming from a reading passage, then part of the information he talked about was coming from a conversation between two students. That's why I gave him the comment in the beginning like this. I said, the reading passage discusses a policy about the university's plans to purchase a new sculpture. And in the listening passage, the two students discuss this new policy. You see what I'm saying? So notice how I used a compound sentence here. I used a compound sentence to state the main point of both the reading passage and the lecture. So if he could do that and make that one improvement, I think his topic development of his integrated speaking would get a little bit better. Okay, here's the last one that I'm going to do today. This is the key. I just do one per, I go through and do practice tests in the morning, and that's it. If somebody posts in the afternoon, I don't listen to it. I just do them at the same day every morning. Okay, so Marcelos is doing independent speaking practice test number 15. So let's see what we have here. All right, hi there. These comments are from Marcelok, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT, and you are using my course exactly the way I intended it. You're doing writing and speaking practice all the time, almost every day, in fact. And guess what? You keep doing all the writing practice, and your writing score, I'm telling you, it can go up to 29 to 30 points out of 30. No joke. I had somebody just like you. He did 35 writing practice tests over about 35 days, and his writing went from 22 points to 29. And you're also practicing a lot with your speaking. I listen to you almost every day. That's what you want to do. This is why I created my course, so students could practice and get feedback, just like you're doing, right? Okay, so let's go to the rubrics here. We have independent speaking practice test number 15 here. So how have mobile phones changed their lives in relation to some years ago?
The mobile phone changed your life today in relation to some years ago because the smartphones are now able to make conference and help to keep contact with other people.
So smartphones are not able to do what?
Some years ago because the smartphones are now able to make conference and help to keep contact with other people.
Are now able to make, I apologize, but I'm not exactly sure what that first point is. Let me keep listening.
First of all, video conference are one of the uses of mobile phones.
Conference?
So I can record video conference while I am...
You can probably say conferencing, I think. Use it more as a gerund. So smartphones and your speakers are now able to conference with other people or you can call video conferencing or conferencing with the phone, helps people to connect together and discuss ideas.
Walking. These two actions together was impossible.
Say these, T-H-E-S-E, these two actions. I like how you're doing that. You're tying the ideas together with that sentence, which is good. Remember, you have this, these, this, these.
To do before. Furthermore, I can keep in contact with other people.
Now, furthermore, let me go back to what you said in the beginning.
Mobile phone changed your life today in relation to some years ago because smartphones are now able to make conference and help to keep contact with other people. First of all, video call.
Now, if you say first of all, instead of saying furthermore, I suggest that you say second of all, or just state the first point and then say furthermore. So sometimes if we say first, then we probably need to say second. If we say first of all, then we should say second of all. If I say firstly, then I should say secondly. So you have to keep those transition words parallel as you progress through your speech.
Furthermore, I can keep in contact with other people. For instance, I can chat or call them in just 1 second. Overall, because of those reasons, that's how mobile phones has changed our life.
Not bad. I think your organization is pretty good. I mean, I gave you some suggestions about using transition words and keeping them parallel, but overall, you did a pretty good job there, but you're not really developing any of your points that much. So how about this? When you do another practice test, let's just go with one main point and then give some examples, several examples to really develop that idea, because you didn't really develop either of those points in much detail. So that's something that you can improve upon. Delivery, I think you can make quite a few improvements with. I had some trouble with the word conference or conferencing. I wasn't exactly sure what you were saying or how you were using the word in the beginning of your response, and it kind of threw me off a little bit. You're speaking very slowly, so as you become more fluent, you definitely want to speak faster and have fewer pauses when you speak. You can learn more about that if you go to my pronunciation lessons 41 through 44 titled Thought Roots and Blending. All right, so your score here, I'm going to put you at about, on this one, 2.5 out of 4, 19 points out of 30 on this practice test. And this goes to Marcelak. This particular student, he's actually a much better writer than he is a speaker. He has much better control of his writing. He needs to work a lot on his delivery and then really developing his ideas and trying to speak faster. As he becomes more fluent, he will be able to provide more details to support his general ideas. So he's got to work on that. And that's it. So I just graded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just graded 8 speaking and pronunciation practice tests submitted to me by my online students of the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And guess what? If you want feedback just like this, you simply need to go to my website, onlinetoeflcourse.com, and join my course. And you can start posting speaking practice just like everybody else. All right?